Guys, this is Headache, and I'm coming at you today with a different kind of video series that I want to start doing, and I've kind of really already wanted to start doing for like a really long time. Way back when I was growing up, there was a lot of YouTube videos out there that instead of focusing on the gameplay aspects of a game that would play, it'd be more of like a reflection of things that the creator thinks about and big topics that are on their mind, and the game is more of like a backdrop and things that the game brings up. And I've always really wanted to do that. I've always really liked that. So I kind of want to do these more commentary style videos where there's just kind of stuff that I think about on a very constant basis that I want to express, I suppose. So hopefully this is the beginning of a good thing that I like doing. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. Please let me know if this is something that you are going to be enjoying. Today's topic is going to be on something called nihilism, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and it's something that I've struggled with for a very long time, just as a person in general. But I want to start first by getting a baseline definition out there for those of you who have a general idea but maybe not know exactly what it is. It is a viewpoint that traditional values and beliefs are unfounded and that existence is senseless and useless, and that's from the Webster Dictionary. So essentially, I've dealt with this idea set that everything starts at zero. So think of it like a function. Um, Everything is zero. Everything is working out of a corner. Everything is the worst. If I had feelings about whether I was going to land a job interview or not, it's either worth nothing or it's already going to fail. Do I want to get in better shape? Either it's not worth getting into better shape or I'm just going to fail at getting into better shape. Anyway, it doesn't seem like anything is really fun, appealing, or worth looking forward to. Because everything seems from like such a doomed perspective, like everything is at starting out, like starting base, everything is at the bottom. And the problem with that is that it's very logical. So your brain doesn't throw out a lot of alarms because it's still functioning for you. It's still doing something for you. You can have a function where all the best things in life, all the peaks matter much less to you. And basically everything that you feel is, everything is at the bottom. We're at zero. I keep saying that. We're at zero. So anything that's above zero is like a shock, and it's a good thing and it feels good. It gives you a lot of dopamine, but you expect everything to be terrible. So your baseline function is always at this very not good place. And it's not constant. And I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. It's not constant, but it is pretty pervasive. It has to be an active choice for me to combat it, or else I default to, the worst possible scenario over and over and over. Like, even when I was about to start up the recording for this video, I was like, is this even going to hit? Is this even going to land? I don't think so. I don't think people are going to like this. I think this is off base and this covers a tough topic. So, yeah, it's not worth it. Like that's like the cage that I work out of to enter the zone everybody else is in all the time. And I think a lot of this comes from just life experiences up until this point. And nihilism is usually like an anti-religious viewpoint. And I grew up in a religious household, but even in our religious household, there wasn't really a lot of hope and meaning to a lot of things. There was a lot of, like I remember asking once, was like, when does life get fun? And the response was, who said it was fun? And that's kind of been my life experience is like, I go and I see people being mean to each other, and that's why this brought this up because it gets touched on a lot in Dead by Daylight when people are mean to each other for like no reason and stuff like that, and you see it a lot worse out in the real world where people are being discriminated against and put down, and people are suffering for seemingly no reason. Like it's very logical to make that conclusion that everything is just terrible and you're working from zero all the time. And like I said, like the reason I bring it up and why this is like applicable to Dead by Daylight is because, it feels like this game is always broken and it feels like a lot of people are really mean in this game. So it's really hard for somebody with a nihilistic perspective to deal with because it's like it's confirmation bias of that viewpoint, which ultimately is not a healthy viewpoint. Now, that being said, it used to be a lot worse. Like it used to be much worse than how I feel now with it. Like I have a lot more hope, and mostly it's just. And I'm not saying this to blow smoke, but like I'm meeting a lot of new people now with the Twitch and YouTube stuff, and I'm making new friends and making good connections, and it's put a lot more hope in me. It really has. But before that, before I had all that to funnel at and get good stuff out of, like it was I was not I was at the lowest of the nihilistic scale. Like literally everything was meaningless. So in a constructive way, how do we avoid this trap? How do we stay out of the nihilistic zone? How do we do that? I think one of the biggest problems I had when I was really at the depths of my nihilistic streak was I used to really overgeneralize, and I still do it a little bit. Like I'm not perfect; I haven't made it out or anything, but I make a lot of overgeneralizations, a lot of black and white statements. So it comes from nihilism insinuates that it's not an emotional thing, but it is a very heavily emotional thing. It's an emotional reaction of hopelessness and meaninglessness. So you tend to just put a lot of stock into your emotions when something happens and not really analyze yourself and the surroundings that you're in as to what the facts really are. So don't say just because somebody clicked their flashlight or you or somebody teabagged that they're being mean to you. They may have just been like laughing at something. Like that's an overgeneralization. The overgeneralization here is that everybody who flashlight clicks is a bad person or is mean. That's a nihilistic overgeneralization. You need to avoid those. You have to search for the facts in all of these situations. Use analysis because your emotions try to take that from you. They try to make you go on a runaway train and you're not seeing the picture clearly. So you have to really try to detach yourself and not see your instinctual emotions as truth. Don't see your instinctual hopelessness as truth and your instinctual feeling of loss of meaning or uselessness as truth. It's just an emotion. And like most all things, it will pass. This isn't the end of the road here. A lot of those things, a lot of those overgeneralizations that you make about other people are negative. A lot of those things you were saying are not good things. Like you're not making override generalizations, hence the nihilism, that a lot of the world is just a happy place. It's all sunshine and rainbows. You're not making those kinds of generalizations. You're making like I said, everybody who clicks flashlights are jerks and are being mean to you. Everyone who teabags is out to get you and to make you feel bad. Like those are negative labels that you put on other people. So you just gotta avoid putting that kind of energy out into the world, and that counts for you too. You can't say because you get stuck on Ormond Resort with a clown or any sort of low mobility killer that you're bad at killer, now you suck. That's another negative label that you can't put on yourself because of circumstances that are happening outside of your control. So you need to really avoid putting negative labels on yourself and others and kind of just exercise that restraint or at least that hesitation. I think that's the biggest thing. You got to exercise hesitation and not just go for the throat here. You really got to have that pause. I think another thing that helps a lot is setting up opportunities for your small victories, because that's how you directly combat this whole idea that everything is meaningless or everything is just the worst. Like I said earlier, like a lot of good stuff has come out of this Twitch stuff, and I really want to start doing better stuff with it, like doing donation drives and stuff like that. And that's a small victory. And that shows that out of me doing something as dumb as playing video games with other people, it's not dumb. It's just, it's perceived as dumb. Something as seemingly, see, look, there's the nihilism. There it is right there. I just put a negative label on myself for what I do. See, it's pervasive, man. But that's a small victory. And now we can do something good because we do this, and that's a small victory that literally goes directly against the idea that everything is meaningless or everything is the worst possible scenario. But yes, just to reiterate and to re-add on, you really shouldn't personalize your thoughts and feelings. Feelings are not facts, and they do change quickly. So a lot of people will, and this isn't nihilism in general, this is just people in general as well, is that a lot of people will make a generalization based on an emotion that they're feeling in the instinctual reaction to something, and then they will commit to that and they will stick to that and they will define that as fact, they'll define that as law, and that's just not how that works. Now if you keep feeling a feeling over time, like it's persistently a problem, maybe there's some girth to it, your emotions are valid, but they do change quickly and they don't always reflect what's happening in the real world. So you have to exercise responsibility and pause with that. You can't typecast yourself, or others based on what you're feeling in the moment. And I feel like this is something that happens both ways. It's a two-way street, because you, like I said earlier, you'll overgeneralize, you'll typecast someone else based on something small that they did because of an emotional reaction you're having. But on the flip side, you will typecast yourself, or people will typecast you based on emotions you've had in the moment as well. So people need to not take emotional statements or emotional feelings just as the truth, or at least not right off the bat. You need to analyze, you need to sit with it, and not commit to long-term decisions based on short-term feelings. And I think the biggest advice I could probably give for trying to curb or put an end to any sort of nihilistic viewpoint you have is just forgive yourself for feeling that way. Like you're likely not the reason you're nihilistic. I think that was the big thing I had to realize. Like I mentioned earlier, it came from like friends and family. Is like you're probably not the reason you're feeling nihilistic, and even if you are, forgive yourself for being that way. Like it's not that huge of a deal. You need to feel better for no one else besides yourself, and to really put yourself together so you can live a happy, good life. And sometimes you don't get it right, and that's okay. Like you're not going to get it right every time. Nobody gets it right every single time. So what if you fall into kind of this pit of nihilism where you feel like everything is senseless and useless? Like that's okay. It's not the biggest deal in the world. You're not like tearing down the world around you. You can get back on that horse. You can get off of that. But that first step is going, hey, that's okay. I messed up. Or not even that you messed up, but that just like you slipped up there. You kind of went downhill. Everybody goes downhill, and that's not a bad thing. It's just crucial that you let yourself have that energy, have that space, have that forgiveness from yourself. That way you can keep at it again. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I really want to say on this. I think it's something that I've struggled with for a really long time. And if there's anybody else that feels that way or has been going through this, I hope this helps at least to like some extent. Or even the very least, it gets it off of my chest and out into the world where it could be constructive and it could be a good force. So that's all for this video. I hope you liked what I had to say and feel about nihilism, and I hope the stuff that said was thought provoking. If you want to talk about it down in the comments below or in the Discord or whatever, you're free to do so. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for taking your time with me. And I'll catch you either in the next YouTube video or on Twitch where I stream. So I'll see you guys later.